Welcome back to the studio. I think, maybe taken a couple weeks off. I just haven't been in my studio and I'm sad about it actually. And I thought we would talk about it while I work on some backgrounds and we talk about that a little bit and talk about, sometimes you're not arting as an artist. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm glad you're here too. I am working on some abstract backgrounds for paintings that will become landscapes or still lifes, but this is just the fun part. This is just an underlayer, and I'm just letting myself go. I can do whatever I want, and I'm just having some fun. Because I want this to have multiple layers. I'll be working on this for some time, just the background layers. And this is the first time I've been in the studio in over 2 weeks. It's the first time I have felt like I wanted to be in the studio. And I thought, I'll just turn the camera on and you can see what I'm working on. And I can talk a little bit about why I haven't been here. I have been working on 2 big projects. For those that don't know, I'm a nonprofit director and I speak nationwide, and I have some things going on in my professional life. I spoke at a big conference this week and I had to prep for that. We are doing a big fundraiser. We're putting on a race, a 10K, 5K, and 1 mile to raise money for the nonprofit that I work with. And so it's new to us. We've never done that before. And so we're, learning, and that's this month. So that's taken a little bit. And I'm working on a big project with, that's a grant through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And I am, a big part of that will be done this week. So I feel like I've had a little bit of breathing space, but all those things are amazing things. But they take a lot of, heart and brain. And so I just haven't had the capacity to be in my studio. Now I work in my studio, so my day job, I work from home, and so I am in my studio. It doubles as my office, and so I see my empty easel or my empty, table, and there's a little bit of weird guilt. I don't know if you're an artist, put in the comments if you have that too, where when you're not working but you're seeing your studio, do you feel a little bit of guilt? I have been feeling that way, which is kind of weird too. My art practice should be fun. I don't want it to cause me pain. And so that I've been, resistant to doing artwork, I think too, because of that. And so it's a weird time. It's a weird space. The other thing I'm prepping for is I'm going to have, total knee replacement surgery next month. And so I've, to get ready for that, I've had to do some appointments and some mental prep. It's a lot. It feels like a lot personally. And so I've been trying to wrap my head around that. And also the injections that I had been getting in my knee no longer work. And so I've been dealing with, pain, actual physical pain. So if you're an artist or have an art practice and you have health issues, there's a lot to that. I think there's a lot to that, and how we overcome that and still get in the studio. I don't have answers because obviously I wasn't doing work, but this might be one of the answers. So this project, this is panel boards, nothing fancy. They're, I think I got them. They're Art Pop from Dick Blick. Look for specials. They often have specials on these, and they come in packs of 6. And my thinking was, I want to do these landscapes and I want to do still lives, but I want to also have them be on these very rich backgrounds, like have all these layers and underlayers. And I thought, one way to deal with this ick feeling of not working on my art, or my, the guilt, would be to do this. This I thought I could do. I'm not here trying to produce anything that will become something today. I'm just putting on a layer. And seeing, kind of where that goes. And that felt doable, and that got me back in the studio. So I'm thinking that might be part of the answer, is when I'm feeling pressure in other parts of my life, to lower the stakes, right? To not do something that I feel precious about, but instead do something that just, feels good. Something that feels good. This feels good. This is fun to do. This is just one layer. I hope to do multiple layers, scratch through to other layers. Just have this be really textured. And so this is just the first layer of that. And this is so low stakes. It doesn't matter what it looks like. There's nothing I can do at this stage that's wrong, right? And I think maybe when the world seems hard or life seems hard, this might be one way to handle it. I'd love to know how you handle it. How do you handle, when you're just not able to commit to doing art? You love it. You want to do it, but there's some block. What do you do to get back in the studio? I'd love to know. I'd love to know what that is, because I think that's probably different for everybody. But I think we all have moments where we're just not really feeling it. And hopefully those moments don't last for a really long time. But even if they do last longer than you would like, how did you work yourself out of it? I'd be curious. This is currently my way. I don't know if it's the right way, but it's a way. It's a way. And in the meantime, I can just have some fun. They're definitely different, but they're fun. They're definitely fun. I'll give it that. Sort of a freedom in it that's like anything goes, which, I don't give myself in most paintings. So maybe that was part of it too. Maybe I wasn't coming into my studio because I've put so much pressure on myself to have finished paintings that I was forgetting, like, part of the joy is having low expectations. Maybe I needed to remember that part of painting isn't about the finished outcome. It's about the making and, the exploration. And I have to be honest, this feels great, and maybe making more time for this sort of simple acts, simple things might be smart on a regular basis, so I don't reach that burnout, or the guilt stage. Why am I not working in my studio? Why am I not doing this? I think it might be a good lesson to keep with me, going forward, kind of as I, want to do art for a long time. I need to find strategies that support a long-term art practice, as opposed to, rush, because that doesn't feel great. And this feels better. This feels a lot better. And it's very fun. It's very fun to have no expectations. So part of it is play, isn't it? It's remembering that it's not about the finished product, and art is an exploration, and to stay curious. And when I'm feeling that hesitancy, the thing I want to remember is that I need more time for just exploration. And so I'm going to keep doing that. And I hope that whatever you're doing in your studio, if you're not making art right now because your life is hard or the world seems hard, and to give yourself a little bit of grace, I think we all need to do that for sure. And then also just remember, you can always go back to it. You can always start again. You know, I know that. You can just start again. But for the meantime, I've got 12 of these panels. So I'm just going to continue making marks and see where that goes. And then when I'm feeling it, they're going to turn into landscapes and into still lifes. But until then, I hope whatever you're doing is bringing you joy. And remember, you're never wasting paint.